Yes, I recognize our royal fathers.
Thank you, police band. Thank you so much, everyone. I have good news. We are starting now officially on the instruction of the Vice President. Ladies and gentlemen, to begin today's landmark event, I'd like to invite everyone to please rise for the national anthem of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to be rendered by the Nigerian Police Band. Your Excellencies, good morning and welcome. They say that journalism is the first draft of history. But every now and then, a journalist comes along who doesn't just document history, he helps shape how it's understood. Today is one of those rare moments where the storyteller becomes the story, where the voice we have trusted to interpret Nigeria for decades is the one we have gathered to celebrate. In the media space, often defined by speed, noise, and competing narratives, there are few voices that command attention, not by volume, but distinguished guests by credibility. Voices that once heard cannot be ignored. For many Nigerians, across homes, offices, and even corridors of power, one such voice has become familiar, clear, firm, unapologetic. From the days of print journalism to the high-stakes world of broadcast analysis, it's difficult to engage any Nigerian media landscape without encountering the influence of our own BABAJIDE, KOLADE-OTITOJU. And we're going to begin very quickly with prayers. Nigeria's strength lies in its diversity, and today we honor that richness of faith, culture, and shared humanity. As we begin this special occasion, we commit this gathering into the hands of Almighty God. Please welcome with me the Senior Special Assistant on Politics to presence, protocol, and purpose. leadership management strategist whose work sits at the intersection of governance, communication, and influence. She's an author, a global speaker, a woman committed to service and leadership. Please welcome the academic, technocrat, and broadcast veteran, Professor Ronke Bello, who is your lead compere today. Please put your hands together for her.
Thank you very much for those very kind words. Nifemi Oguntoye. He also is an award-winning journalist broadcast of many, many years, and presently he anchors the news at 10 on TVC. I would like to mention before I just introduce our guest that we'll still have our special guest joining us later in the day, but it's authorized that we move on. So I welcome the chairman of the occasion, Chairman Nigeria's Governors Forum, and Executive Governor of Kwara State, His Excellency Abdurrahman Abdurazak. You're welcome, sir. Kwara State is indeed one of the most beautiful states today. And of course, the celebrant, Babajide, has a history with that state. I also welcome all our guests of honor. Most of them have been here very early. We welcome the very first governor to have arrived here, Governor Babagada Zulum of Borno State. You're welcome. As I mentioned earlier, I was actually the chair of our committee for the convention. And of course, his was a proof that when you're talking about tall people, they indeed have competence. You're welcome, sir. We also welcome, in absentia, although I'll read the list in case they join us later so that we don't go back there. We welcome Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State. We welcome Governor Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State, Governor Obasani of Kaduna State. Representing the Governor of Edo State here, we have Mr. Keshima Vibwa. We welcome the Governor of Katsina State, Governor Diko Rada. We welcome the Governor of Imo State, is on his way. His commissioner is here already, Hobo Zodima, who also is the Chairman Progressive Governors Forum. We welcome the Governor of Akwa Ibom State, who will be joining us. We welcome the Governor of Ogun State, Dakwa Abiodun. We welcome the Governor of Adamawa State, Governor Umaru Fintiri. We welcome Governor Maimala Buni of Yobe State. We welcome His Excellency Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo. I've welcomed him before. He has a special history with Babajide as the governor of his state. And back in the state, we call him the flower boy. So you're welcome, my governor. We welcome one of the governors that's been here for a while, Governor Agbu Kefit of Taraba. We welcome you, sir. You've been here for a while. We welcome most distinguished members of the National Assembly that are present. We welcome the honorable ministers that are here. We welcome the book reviewer, who is indeed a distinguished academia, because what is a book without a reviewer? So we welcome Professor Karim Mohammed, former Vice Chancellor, Modibo Adama University, Yola. We welcome all the esteemed members and CEOs of the fourth estate of the realm. That's the traditional media, radio, and television. And also we welcome the members of the fifth estate of the realm, which is the social media. We welcome the parents of the celebrant. They've been here. His Royal Majesty Oba Johnson, KOLADE-OTITOJU, and his Olori, beautiful Olori, they are seated. We welcome the wife of the celebrant, Mrs. Wumi Jide Otitoju. We welcome the children. We welcome friends, colleagues, and associates of the celebrant, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. While I was speaking, I noticed one of our big stars, though serving Lagos, but of course is someone we all respect. I welcome Honorable James Abiodun Faleke. He's in the hall now. We welcome you. He's actually from the same town with the celebrant, so we welcome you. And we welcome everyone. Even if we've not listed you on the protocol, you're all important to us. And thank you for coming out today to celebrate with Jide. Today, like we've said before, we're celebrating Africa's media giant, one of our most influential figures. It is believed that every human being provokes three reactions. You're either loved, you are hated, or people are simply indifferent to you. Our celebrant, Babajide, cannot be classified as one who belongs to the third group. You love him, you hate him, but his critics are certain to accept that he has been one of the best in the industry. He can't be ignored. He's standing tall on the heels of success, on the heels of being somebody that amplifies his surname, Otitoju, which means truth is the greatest. I'm sure when his parents had him, they did not know that indeed he will amplify that name. This man we celebrate today is renowned, is celebrated, is knowledgeable, is courageous, he speaks truth to power, a voice of the voiceless. He stands tall on his career, a hero of democracy, an icon of both the print and electronic media. He is a journalist and an historian, and gladly some of us went to the same school with him for our first degree. We're shocked he's already 60. Are you trying to make us look old? Anyway, we celebrate you. So ladies and gentlemen, help me give a sounding round of applause to the celebrant of today, Babajide KOLADE-OTITOJU at 60. Thank you very, very much. While we're going on with the program, I will be watching the welcome address, which I've been told will be played. And the welcome address is by the CEO, TVC Communications, Mrs. Victoria Ajayi. That will be played. Thank you.
Federal Republic of Nigeria, Vice President Kashim Shettima, GCON, Chairman of the Day and Chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum, Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak. Our book reviewer, former Vice Chancellor, Modibo Adama University, Yola, Professor Kyari Mohammed, distinguished senators, honorable members of the House of Representatives, honorable ministers, governors, special guests, esteemed journalists, ladies and gentlemen, to everyone who has traveled far and wide to celebrate a friend, a colleague, and a national voice, Babajide KOLADE-OTITOJU, fondly known as BKO. I say, Ekabo, Baraka de Zua, Ndewono, you are most welcome. My name is Victoria Ajayi, and it's truly an honor to give the opening remark for this landmark occasion, the Diamond Jubilee celebration and book presentation of one of Nigeria's most respected journalists. I would have loved to be physically present with you at the center of unity, but urgent duty calls. However, it will be remiss of me not to honor BKO, even if it's from a distance. After all, we now live in the age of artificial intelligence. Well, please note, I'm very real, and this tribute is entirely human. Over half of his life has been dedicated to journalism, not just reporting events, but shaping national discourse. Babajide KOLADE-OTITOJU is not just an armchair analyst. He's a journalist who goes where the story lives. Tell me, how many journalists will dare climb the tenuous mountains of Mambila Plateau, the highest mountain in Nigeria and West Africa, in search of a story? How many will fly in fighter jets with the Nigerian Air Force, immersing themselves in the realities of those defending our territorial integrity, simply to better understand the story? So when BKO speaks, he does not speak from speculation. He speaks from experience. He speaks from context. He speaks with authority. And that is what has made him not just a journalist, but a credible national voice. His career has been defined by courage, integrity, and the relentless pursuit of truth, qualities widely acknowledged across Nigeria's media landscape, where he's recognized for his bold analysis, his professionalism, and his commitment to public interest journalism. BK and I joined the organization almost around the same period, about 13 years ago. And from an insider perspective, I can tell you this, is not only the most passionate or one of the most passionate broadcasters in Nigeria, is also one of the most hardworking. He has built a cult-like following, particularly on Facebook and across digital platforms. Although a prince from Ekiriade in Kogi State, he remains remarkably grounded, approachable, and constantly willing to learn, a rare combination. Recently, after returning from a training program in Kenya, Nairobi, he immediately implemented noticeable improvements on air. That is BKO. Always learning, always evolving, always pushing the bar higher. There are some qualities you simply cannot take away from him. His altruism, his boldness, his empathy towards colleagues and staff, and his commitment to mentoring the next generation. Today, many journalists across Nigeria and even beyond have passed through his tutelage. That is legacy. Sometimes you truly do not know how widely respected someone is until you travel with them. On a few work trips, from the airport to boarding gates, I often became the official photographer. Sometimes we're mobbed. Sometimes protocols are relaxed. Sometimes doors simply open. In fact, I might just start using his name to secure the electric vehicle I've been trying to purchase. But jokes apart, he has built credibility. And in journalism, credibility is currency. Today, the name Babajide KOLADE-OTITOJU is synonymous with courage, depth, and national interest. The good book says, "Seest thou a man, diligent in his work, he shall stand before kings, he shall not stand before mean men." That is his story. And today, he stands before kings, before leaders, and a nation that respects his voice. Nearly 11 years ago, he started Journalist Hangout, which began as a program, but has now become a national institution. It became a sacred table where journalists across the country gather to speak truth to power, to debate national issues, and to challenge leadership. Even when he's not physically present, the show continues to wax strong. That is not just a program, that is institution building. Some people say life begins at 40, but people like BKO put that phrase to shame. Because if you've ever seen him on the dance floor, you will agree that life at 60 is the real deal. His energy, his enthusiasm, and his passion remains infectious. I've not had the opportunity to read the book being presented here today, but I'm certain it contains stories, testimonials, lessons, struggles, triumphs, and the journey of a journalist who refused to be silent. So as you read the book, I encourage you to reflect. How can you add your voice to society? What platform can you create, just as he has created Journalist Hangout platform? How can you influence change? Because journalism is not just about reporting, it's about impact. As I round up, there is one thing I know BKO would want everyone listening here to embrace: patriotism. BKO and I share this common trait. We are both staunch patriots of Nigeria. Yes, we must hold leadership accountable. Yes, we must critique governance. Yes, we must demand better. But we must never demarket our country. Because think about it. Does a farmer trample on his crops because rains are delayed? No. He protects it because harvest will soon come. And so today, as we celebrate BKO's Diamond Jubilee, I urge us all, put patriotism first. Believe in Nigeria, speak truth, but also speak hope. Let me end with this thought. Silver and gold a man may not have, but if he has a voice that inspires, a platform that empowers, and a life that impacts, he has given the world something far greater. Babajide KOLADE-OTITOJU has used the power of his voice to change lives, to influence policy, and to shape conversations. That is impact. That is legacy. That is why today, at 60, we celebrate not just a birthday, we celebrate a life of meaning. Happy 60th BKO, and congratulations on your book launch. And may your come. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we have a round of applause? Thank you very much. We've had the opening remarks from the CEO of TVC. That's technology in action. And we celebrate everyone that is here once more. We'll move on. I would invite at this point Dr. Okpe Oshaolu, who is the representative of the 60th Birthday Planning Committee. Mr. Babajide had a very formidable planning committee, so we would like to hear from them. So please, let's have a round of applause for Dr. Okpe. And just as it's coming on, I would like to introduce, I've cited him coming in, I would like to say the grandfather of broadcasting, because that will make him look too old. But it's one of those that mentored many of us and has remained solidly behind our growth. Dr. Danladi Bako, you're welcome. I can cite you there. Thank you very much. I mean, in the 70s, you couldn't have missed him. He was one of the first Northerners to go into broadcasting with Morning Ride of Lagos, and he did a fantastic job. Dr. Okpe, thank you very much. A round of applause for him, please.
Thank you very much. On behalf of the 60th Planning Committee, I want to sincerely welcome us all in a very profound way to the 60th birthday anniversary of Babajide KOLADE-OTITOJU, our boss, our leader, and a pathfinder. Those of us who are members of our committee are not just those individuals who are still working with TVC. I worked with Babajide KOLADE-OTITOJU years ago. I'd left TVC for the university. I'm now an academic. I teach in the university now. But he just called me one Sunday. He said, hey, you are handling that. And that's just it. And it's just about relationship. It's about the way he led us, the way he taught us. And I can see a whole lot of folks that have even left the organization who are here this morning celebrating with him. And we sincerely want to welcome you and to thank you for being part of this event. And we say, God will bless you. God will be with you. God will perfect everything that concerns you. And at the end of the day, we shall have every cause to thank the Almighty. Thank you, and God bless you.
That voice, right? Now you know that TVC is blessed. A round of applause for Dr. Oshaolu. Whether you are teaching or not, you are a product of TVC. And you saw our CEO earlier. A round of applause. I understand that our senior management staff, many of them are also here. Please put your hands together for them. Thank you for coming out to celebrate one of our own. A quick mention of some distinguished personnel who have joined us here this morning. They used to be journalists, but they've moved on to bigger things. Special Advisor, Media and Public Communication to Mr. President. We have Mr. Sunday Dari. Please put your hands together for him. We also have Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Mr. Bayo Ononuga. Thank you so much for coming out. We have the past President of the Nigeria Institute of Public Relations and IPR, Mukhtar Zubairu Surajo. You're welcome. And we have the Chairman, House of Representatives Committee on Finance, who is not only from the state of the celebrator, but who is also his uncle, Honorable James Abiodun Falike. You're welcome. Thank you so much for coming out. And while we were doing all of that, I'm sure you could see that the Chief Executive Officer of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, Mr. Tunji Bello, is here. You're welcome. Thank you so much for coming. Distinguished guests, the Chief of Staff to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria just walked in, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila. You're welcome. Thank you, sir, for coming. We really appreciate you. How do you talk about BKO? And where do you start from? Because it's like reading an entire book and then you're wondering, where do you begin from? How do you introduce a man who has spent decades introducing Nigeria to itself? A journalist who reported the tension-filled streets of Kano in the early 90s, who stood firm from when telling the truth was not convenient, who rose from the news, the PM news, into broadcast media, and then built something really remarkable, a program that has become a national thinking ground, Journalist Hangout. Now, let me say this carefully. In Nigeria today, from Abuja to Lagos, from Port Harcourt to Kano, it's difficult to enter a newsroom and not find someone who has either worked with him, been mentored by him, or been shaped by his philosophy of journalism. Yes, you can clap. A round of applause, please. That's not just experience, you know, that is institutional influence. So please turn your attention to the screen as we bring you a brief profile of the man Babajide KOLADE-OTITOJU, the one we fondly call BKO.
The name Babajide KOLADE-OTITOJU is not just a household name in Nigeria. It represents a towering and iconic figure in the media industry in Africa's most populous country. Over the years, Babajide KOLADE-OTITOJU, fondly referred to as BKO, has made waves in the media with his incredible and incisive analysis, investigative reports, and innovative news management that have endeared him to many people.
I saw my very good friend Babajide KOLADE-OTITOJU, very brilliant analyst.
Having traversed the print journalism like a colossus, first as a correspondent and later as a bureau chief in Kano and Kaduna, and later as an editor at PM News and the news at different times in Lagos. He moved to television and the brand became global.
I really don't know what
Dr.
At the center of this eminence
Oshaolu, who is the representative of the 60th Birthday Planning Committee. Mr. Babajide had a very formidable planning committee, so we would like to hear from them. So please, let's have a round of applause for Dr. Okwe. And
through television, he has become one of the most recognizable figures in contemporary Nigeria's journalism.
in the quiet hours before the morning light, when truth was hidden from sight.
As the saying goes, a chick that will grow into a cock is spotted the very day it hatches. Babajide can best be described as a child of promise and destiny, whose arrival brought joy and hope. He was born to the family of retired Nigerian teachers in Ekiriade, Ijumu local government area of Kogi State. That will grow into a cock is spotted the very day it hatches. Babajide can best be described as a child of promise and destiny, whose arrival brought joy and hope. He was born to the family of retired Nigerian teachers in Ekiriade, Ijumu local government area. His father, the Akiri of Ekiri, Oba Johnson KOLADE-OTITOJU, Igbolono I, recalled with nostalgia the circumstances surrounding the birth of Babajide on that fateful day of 28th of March, 1966.
The first child after the death of my mother and my father
the Akiri
was
of
Ide, a
Oba
son.
Johnson KOLADE-OTITOJU,
Jide's birth came to me as a great
the circumstances surrounding the birth. You said he kept Babajide season of tears that brought a lasting consolation.
The coming of the first child wiped away my mother and my father. All my tears was all my sorrows, and all that I had lost came.
The monarch described Babajide as a child born with many attributes.
As he grew up in the primary school, he was doing well. When he entered the secondary school, in the early stages, I must confess, he gave me a lot of headache. But in the senior classes, from Form 3 upwards, it was great. As he grew up in the primary school,
Christiana KOLADE-OTITOJU, her mother, is also a retired teacher. She spoke more about the circumstances surrounding Babajide's birth, which she described as less complicated.
I was taken to the hospital. I came back home. I said it wasn't time 8. But at night, I was not comfortable. So I went back. And she was delivered.
Surrounding Babajide's birth, which she described as
came
complicated.
peacefully. I was
For
taken
the
to
parents,
the hospital.
Babajide was a child with unique qualities.
Though nobody called him additional, but his name is additional because he opened way for others. He had been a very nice, he came good person. He didn't give us any problem.
Babajide was a child, but the parents did not spare the rod in giving Babajide a Spartan upbringing and the discipline required to shape his unique perspective.
Though
Because he
two of us
opened
recognize
way
him
for others.
as a great gift,
Nice.
we did not pamper him. I did not say, no, this child was not touched
Giving Babajide a
by me,
Spartan upbringing.
by the mother or the teacher.
Hence, he has showcased the talent and dedication required to succeed at the highest level and continue to shine in the media circle, becoming a source of pride for Nigeria.
This child was not touched by me, by the mother or the teacher.
He has showcased the talent and dedication required. Oba Anthony Ababayido Ahimawo the First is the Oluwade of Ekiniade, Nigeria.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're waiting for the arrival. I hear is in the premises already of our special guest of honor. So we will be putting a pause on this beautiful documentary of the life of Babajide, and it will be replayed later when our special guest is fully seated. We thank you. Police band, can we have some soft music at this point? Ladies and gentlemen, we're waiting for the arrival. I hear is in the premises already of our special guest of honor. Ladies and gentlemen, I shouldn't forget to introduce my big sister who is seated here, Ajia Bola Shagaya. You're welcome, ma. One of Nigeria's most formidable women in business. Ladies and gentlemen, I shouldn't forget to introduce my big sister who is seated here, Ajia Bola Shagaya. You're welcome, ma. One of Nigeria's most formidable women in business.
Truly, you are a gift. Babajide. Eleda mi mudiyemu. Congratulations to the celebrant. Babajide. Eleda mi mudiyemu. Truly, you are a gift. Babajide. Eleda mi mudiyemu. Mo wá dúpẹ́ orí àná bàbá mo dúpẹ́. Eleda mi mudiyemu.
Ladies and gentlemen, shall we rise to receive the special guest of honor for this august occasion? His Excellency, the Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Kashim Shettima. Ladies and gentlemen, shall we rise to receive the special guest of honor for this august occasion? His Excellency, the Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Kashim Shettima. Police band, the national anthem. Police band, the national anthem. Thank you. Please be seated. Good morning, Your Excellency, the Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Kashim Shettima, Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger, GCON. Thank you. We welcome you once more. We welcome everyone that's been here. Your Excellency, we thank you specifically for allowing the event to have started just before you came in. Of course, we know you as a considerate leader. As a leader who gives his best, a great ally of our president, someone the media is in love with, and before the end of today, you see a lot of your friends, media giants who have come here to support you. Just before you came in, Mr. Vice President, sir, we had numerous governors, and I'm sure they welcomed you, who have been here all to celebrate Babajide Otitoju. So with your permission, your kind permission, Your Excellency, we shall continue with the Vice President. Sir, we had numerous governors, and I'm sure they welcomed you, who have been here all to
Your Excellency,
Babajide Otitoju.
a dependable ally
with your
of
permission,
Mr.
your
President,
kind permission, Your Excellency, we shall continue
in his
with the
reform
program.
work of transforming Nigeria, the Vice President, Professor Bello, Senator, Your Excellency, Kashim Shettima, GCON, you're welcome. Thank you so much for coming. All right, distinguished guests, reform work. We're moving on now to bring you some remarks from individuals who know the celebrator quite well. You're welcome. They say a man's true wealth is not just in what he has achieved, but in the lives that he has touched along remarks. You know that in journalism, stories are told every day, but the real story, they say, a man is often found behind the scenes. It's not just in what he has Most times when you put on your TV and you see an anchor smiling, a lot is happening behind along the scene. You know that in journalism, we're also going to told every day. Give the mic to people who have known BKO all the while. Is often found to say one or two things about him. Most times when you put on your But I'd like you to turn your attention to the screen while we replay the brief profile of the man also going to we fondly call BKO, Babajide who have known KOLADE-OTITOJU, to say one or two things about him. But I'd like you to turn your attention to the screen while we replay the brief profile of
The
man
name Babajide KOLADE-OTITOJU is not just a household name in Nigeria. It represents a towering and iconic figure in the media industry in Africa's most populous country. Over the years, Babajide KOLADE-OTITOJU, fondly referred to as BKO, has made waves in the media with his incredible and incisive analysis, investigative reports, and innovative news management that have endeared him to many people. Fondly referred to as BKO, has made waves in the media with his incredible and incisive analysis, having traversed the print journalism like a colossus, first as a correspondent and later as a bureau chief in Kano and Kaduna, and later as an editor at PM News and the news at different times in Lagos. He moved to television and the brand became global.
I really don't know what
as a bureau chief in At the center of this eminence in his checkered journey as a journalist is his analytical prowess and journalist hangout on TVC. To television and the brand became global.
I really don't know what Nigerians are very good copycats.
At the center of this eminence in his checkered journey as a journalist is his analytical Through television, he has become one of the most recognizable figures in contemporary Nigeria journalism.
Nigerians are very
In the quiet hours
the main
before
goal
the morning
is to
light.
stop this nuclear ambition.
Through television, he has become one of the most recognizable figures in contemporary. As the saying goes, a chick that will grow into a cock is spotted the very day it hatches. Babajide can best be described as a child of promise and destiny, whose arrival brought joy and hope. He was born into the family of retired Nigerian teachers in Ekiriade, Ijomu local government area of Kogi State. Best be described as a child of promise and destiny, whose arrival brought joy and hope. He was born into the family of retired Nigerian teachers in Ekiriade, Ijomu local government area of Kogi State. His father, the Akinrin of Ekiri, Oba Johnson KOLADE-OTITOJU, Igbolona I, recalled with nostalgia the circumstances surrounding the birth of Babajide on that fateful day of 28th of March, 1966.
The first child after the death of my mother and my father
recalled with nostalgia the
Jide, a
circumstances
son.
surrounding the birth
So
of Babajide
Jide's
on that
birth
fateful
came to
day
me
of
as a
28th of
great
March,
relief.
1966. Oba Otitoju said
First
he
child
came to them in a
after
season
the
of
death
tears
of
and
my
brought
mother
a
and my
lasting
father
consolation.
Was the coming of Jide wiped away Jide's birth. Came all my tears, great relief, all my sorrows,
Oba Otitoju said
and
he
all
came to
that
them
I
in a
had
season
lost.
of tears. The monarch described Babajide as a child born with many attributes.
As he grew up in the primary school, he was doing well. My tears. When he entered the secondary school, in the early stages, I must confess,
The monarch
he
described
gave
Babajide as a
me a
child
lot of
born
headache.
with many
But
attributes.
in the senior classes, from Form 3 upwards, when he was great. Secondary school, in the early stages, I must
Olori
confess,
Christiana Ebun Otitoju, the mother, is also a retired teacher.
in
She
the senior
spoke more
classes,
about
from
the circumstances surrounding
Form 3
Babajide's
upwards,
birth,
it was
which she described as less complicated.
I was taken to the hospital. I came back home. I said it wasn't time yet.
She spoke more
But at
about
night,
the circumstances
I was not
surrounding
comfortable,
Babajide's
so
birth,
I went
which
back,
she described as
and
less
Jide was
complicated.
delivered. I was taken to the hospital. I had no problem. I came back home. I said it wasn't time yet, peacefully. But at
For the
night,
parents,
I was not
Babajide was a
comfortable,
child
so
with
I
unique
went back.
qualities.
Though nobody called him Adeshina, but his name is Adeshina because he opened way for others. He had been a
Babajide was a
very
child with
nice
unique
and
qualities.
good boy. Though he didn't give us any problem Adeshina.
But the parents did not spare the rod in giving Babajide
because
a Spartan
he opened
upbringing
way for
and the
others.
discipline
He had
required
been
to
a
shape
very
his unique
nice
perspectives.
and
Though
good
the
boy.
two of us
He didn't
recognized
give
him
us any
as a
problem.
great gift.
But the parents
We did not
spare the
pamper
rod in
him.
giving Babajide a
I
Spartan
did not say
upbringing
no.
and the discipline
This
required to shape
child
his
must not be
unique
touched.
perspectives.
Though by me, by the mother or the teacher.
Hence,
We
he
did
has
not
showcased
pamper
the
him.
talents and dedication
I did
required
not
to
say
succeed
no.
at the highest
This
level and
child must
continue
not
to
be
shine in
touched
the media circle, becoming
by
a
me,
source of pride
by
for
the mother
Nigeria.
or the teacher.
One voice stood
Hence, he
firm,
has
one
showcased
pen
the
wrote
talents and
bold.
dedication required to succeed at the highest
Through
level
storms of doubt
and
and
continue to shine in the media
rising
circle, becoming a source of Oba Anthony Bamigbaye Idowu Ahimaworo I is the Oluade of Ekiriade and chairman of Ekiriade Traditional Council. Destiny brought both men together at their formative years while doing their secondary education at the Abdulaziz Atta Memorial College, Okene, of Ekiriade, and chairman of Ekiriade Traditional Council. Destiny brought both men together at their formative years while doing their secondary education at the Abdulaziz Atta Memorial College, Okene.
We used to chat most of the time. The senior will say, "Why are those people talking there?" Because after last 9 o'clock, you must all sleep. But we still be chatting. So we be good friends.
Both men shared fond memories that Obaido recollect, beaming with smiles.
Yeah, because as we all know, when we were young, we do some pranks. So himself too is not left out. It's a person that sometimes to stay in the class and I'll be talking all this time. Teachers will come around and say, who are those talking, making noise there? He's such a person.
Another childhood friend of Babajide is Dende Toyin Komolafe, the national president of Ekiriade Community Development Association. Komolafe also spoke about their school days when Babajide exhibited some of his traits as a man of immense conviction.
The boldness which is known for all over the world today did not start today. He has always been a bold person, very courageous. He has a deep sense of conviction. He's not afraid to stand alone. Whatever he believes in, he stays by it. And he's a man of truth. He stands for the truth always. So then he cut across as a very gentle person, but very firm.
It was during those tender years that BKO imbibed the spirit of discipline and became an activist, not on the streets, but with his pen.
He turned part of his attention to other things, to modernization of staff and students.
His persistence and never say die spirit was formed those years.
Anything he wants, he will be telling you as a child. I remember he wanted the bicycle. If he's sleeping, he will say, "Mommy, keke, keke." In his dream, he will be saying keke, keke until we bought the keke.
Unknowingly, those struggles for social justice solidified a foundation for a career in journalism.
I never knew, and may God forgive me, I never knew that God was preparing Jide for journalism, for a career in journalism.
At the University of Ilorin, Babajide's lifelong passion for journalism blossomed. His closest friend at the university, Olabode Adekonye, recollects fond memories about Babajide's adventures as a campus journalist and editor of the Press Club.
Jide would go and hide somewhere at the gate of Kwara Hotel and be waiting, particularly on weekends, and be waiting for when the big men will come and then patronize the undergraduate ladies. Jide will write so extensively about them and paste them everywhere on the campus. So everybody will be looking for Jide to either beat or just to do something terrible to him. So he will escape for a while and then he will plot and do a new thing.
Adekonye and others testified to Babajide's zeal for learning and work.
Jide was a product of focused scholarship, a product of hard work and dedication. One thing you can't take away from Jide then, and even now, is the fact that Jide works hard at everything he does.
In 2023, Babajide KOLADE-OTITOJU and his old classmates reunited 40 years after graduating from Government High School, GHS Ilorin, Kwara State. Dressed in the school uniform, a reminiscence of their days at GHS Ilorin 40 years after graduation, the 1983 set gathered to impact the school that contributed to molding them into personalities they have become.
Babajide KOLADE-OTITOJU, and we know.
Having become one of the most recognizable figures in Nigeria through his work as a journalist, BKO has continued to shine, attract accolades, and win numerous awards.
There's one thing about Jide. Jide wants to ask questions. Jide wants to interact with situations. Jide wants to validate whatever his thought to have been on certain things.
And one thing that I have done that has pleased me, because I did not know, I was ignorant of the fact that God was preparing Jide for journalism career when he was in Poli, Ilorin. What I said, and what I did, I regretted. And I asked him to forgive me, that I never knew that was what he was doing was the choice of God for him.
His people appreciate him for not letting the limelight take him away from his roots. His commitment to giving back to his roots prompted them to bestow on him the Omo Atata Award in appreciation. Babajide's alma mater, the University of Ilorin, where he graduated in 1989, has also honored him. When the university celebrated 50 years of establishment in 2025, it honored 65 distinguished personalities as alumni and ambassadors in recognition of their contributions to the institution's growth and reputation. Babajide KOLADE-OTITOJU leads the list of the 50 personalities honored that day with the award of Alumni Ambassadors.
I have received more than 140 awards between the year 2016 and today. But no one of those awards is of greater value than the one that I've received today.
The governor of Kogi State, his home state, Ahmed Usman Ododo, described him as a brother and a pride to the state.
Babajide-Otitoju, my own brother, my senior brother, a true journalist. My relationship with him has been very cordial, very natural, and we are moving well together. He's a nice man. He's a community leader. He works with his people. He has the love of his people. He's giving back to these people. And as such, he's a stakeholder. As far as, not Kogi State alone, as far as this country is concerned, he's a critical stakeholder, and we love him.
The governor also described his commitment to his job as exemplary.
He's one of the top journalists, as far as I'm concerned, that need to be recognized as far as this country is concerned and beyond. If you watch him the way he does his job, he will go down to the grassroots to verify for himself and by himself. And if Otitoju say it's A, if you go there, he will see A.
The occasion of Babajide's 60th birthday provides an opportunity for the parents to share memorable moments about their son.
That's Jide as a young man. Jide with
the family.
The siblings. Jide and mother, this will be about age 6 or age 7, age 5, age 6.
Some of these memories they recollect with a sense of jealousy.
He loves me as the mother. He loves the father too.
He loves this mama more.
He loves the father too.
He loves me. Yes, it's a fight. It's a fight. I know it, but I don't call it.
A man of many parts as a choir boy, composer, sports enthusiast, historian and journalist, BKO is at home in many quarters.
With every headline, every fight for truth, you show the nation what courage can do. BKO.
As he celebrates 60 years, goodwill messages are flowing from many parts.
I wish him happy birthday, and I pray for him that God will grant him good health, long life, to be able to carry on this selfless services.
I want to welcome you to the 6th floor. It's been a beautiful floor. And by the way, I didn't even know that you are my younger brother.
Happy birthday to you, Jide. Happy birthday to you, my son. Happy birthday to you.
I cannot sing, but let me just say, happy birthday to you, my prince, my first son. Please continue to serve Nigeria.
As Babajide KOLADE-OTITOJU continues to journey through life as a prince, father, community leader, and journalist, he remains persistent, curious, and committed to media, public discourse, and humanity with courage and resilience as ever.
A legacy no time can tame, mentor, father, husband, true.
Thank you very much. A round of applause. We've just watched the timeline of Babajide Otitoju's life. Your Excellency, Mr. Vice President, sir, Your Excellencies, Executive State Governors who have been here from the beginning. Also, we've welcomed the Chief of Staff to the President. We thank you for finding time to be here. Before you came in, Your Excellency, special guest, a lot of people have spoken about Jide, and we all agreed on one point, that he is one journalist, a broadcast journalist, that cannot be ignored, whether we love him or hate him. We've acknowledged that he's knowledgeable, he's courageous, he speaks truth to power, he's a voice of the voiceless, he's a hero of democracy and a hero of the media, and an icon of print and electronic media, a journalist and historian. We've all agreed on these things. And now we're going to listen just for 2 minutes each to icons of the media industry who probably know Jide more than we do. We're going to hear the little things he does in the newsroom as a director, those behind the camera things. And as I said earlier, we have a lot of icons here with us. I'll be starting by inviting a veteran, a former DG of NBC, and someone who mentored most of us in the career of broadcasting. And of course, he was probably the first northerner on TV NTA Morning Ride, Dr. Danladi Bako. A round of applause for him, please.
Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Kashim Shettima, GCON, the Chairman of Governors Forum and my brother, friend for 50 years, Abdurrahman Abdulrazak, the Chief of Staff to the President, Governor Zulum, Governor Eno, Governor Ododo, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Senate Majority Leader, and Babajide KOLADE-OTITOJU. I salute you all. 1992-93, Jide was editor of PM News. I was controller network service of the NTA. And we were battling through the arrangements of June 12th. All of us had access to MK Abiola. I walked in there, we followed all those trades. And when the annulment was going to happen, my friend Nduka Irabo, Yusuf Mamman, were going to release a statement. We were searching who signed this statement for June 12 annulment. Jide was there. He was following on PM News. I was following on NTA. These were difficult times. Well, on 2 occasions, my phone was tapped the day Basharon was going to Ekpetado to declare himself. I was one of the last calls he made so that I can explain to the world that he was being arrested. It was his CSO, Isaac Durojaye, that called me because he had my number. Now, I passed that information to Jide, and that's how some of those informations got to the public, because we shared information. And all through those periods, we were working together. Before then, I was on Morning Ride. It was a military regime. Some of the things Jide are saying today, you couldn't say it those days. You wouldn't dare say some of the things that Jide says today. They will pick you up the next minute. I was picked up 3 times. One of them, I was locked up in Flagstaff House. at Marina for 2 days. It was Colonel Onyinola that came to bail me out. So, Jide, you're lucky you're operating during a civilian regime. Democracy has made you to be able to. And at NTA at that time, NTA management would not allow you to celebrate 60th anniversary because you would outshine your DG. So those are the kind of things that we faced those days. So I congratulate you. I also congratulate all the governors that you have spoken with. Remember, I used to be the one that has spoken to more governors on TV. Onyin Lola, Navy Captain Shode, Bode George, Abdulwan Mohammed, Joshua Madaki, all of those governors, I interviewed them. But I think you are chasing my title. And I do hope that you overtake me in all those big personalities you've interviewed. Once again, congratulations, Jide. I've had occasion to call TVC and put them on track as DG of NBC and former DG of NBC, and Jide has been the stabilizing factor. He always understood when they were going a little off course. Once again, Jide, I can only welcome you to the club of 60-year-olds, and I wish you well. And finally, the Vice President, I don't know how many journalists you have attended their events. Most of the time, when journalists invite big men, oh, this one, journalist, forget him. But today you are here. It's an honor for all journalists that you have come to this event. It's an honor. And it simply tells us how simple, how easy. I won't be able to talk about him today, but one of those days when he's celebrating something, I will come on stage and tell you about the Vice President. During the presidential campaign, he chaired 1 or 2 meetings that we did as presidential media team. Just about 6 of us. Femi Fani-Kayode, I think Keyamo was traveled at that time. All of us were in that meeting. And you chaired on 2, 3 occasions during the and you put us on course because we were drifting. And you put us on course. So I'll talk about Vice President another day. Today, thank you for honoring all journalists, because this honor for Jide is an honor for all journalists, that the Vice President of the country can attend a birthday celebration of a journalist. Thank you very much and good afternoon.
Thank you very much, sir. Your Excellency, Mr. Vice President, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to recognize, although she will be speaking later, one of our icons of journalism who moved swiftly from broadcasting to legislature and then to administration. I welcome Honorable Abike Dabiri. We cannot speak about broadcasting without such names. So we thank you, my mentor, my big sister. Your Excellency, moving fast, I'm bringing another media person just for 2 minutes. And the next speaker, I'm sure most people here will find very entertaining, because at a point, we did not know who the people in power should actually fear, whether Babajide or the next speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, Benga Aroleba of AIT, please come and tell us what you know about Babajide. A round of applause for him, please. 2 minutes. Thank you. You can see he's not used to the stage. He wants us to meet him in the studio, where we'll fire all our snare. Thank you. You can come up here, Benga. And don't forget, this is a book launch. We are not in your studio, but we welcome you. Thank you.
Your Excellency, the Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Your Excellencies, the governors here present, the Chief of Staff to the President. May I just rest on the protocol well established by you. I had no idea that I was going to be beyond journalism. Our families flow endlessly together in Lagos. We have some of us here, that circle here, Mojid Jamiu is there, so one of our family friends too. So we are like family friends. We've come a very long way. My Oga, the Koguna and Sokoto, spoke before me. I salute you, sir. Abike Dabiri, Honorable. These were the pioneers before us. But at the time some of us started, I would say the democracy was just trying to, grow. And so, those of us who were pioneers then, that's the second stage after my organs that I mentioned. We had the Herculean task trying to make Nigerians understand that we are actually transiting from a regime where you had no freedom to speak, or your freedom after speaking was not guaranteed. So it was slightly difficult. But then, we thank God that democracy is growing, and it's all thanks to the efforts of people like Jide and some of us who have had, at one time or the other, risk our comfort as well to ensure that this democracy is not truncated. So if democracy is growing today at the rate it's growing, it is all credit to Babajide, KOLADE-OTITOJU, and all of his troublesome friends on journalist hangout who continue to make those in office uncomfortable and kept their feet to the fire. So Jide, congratulations. I'm your elder brother, that you know too well. I celebrated 60 a couple of years back. So you are welcome to the 6th floor. I'm sure you are going to find life more comfortable there because you are at the age where people now consult you for ideas. You have shared enough ideas, but then since you are not tired like some of us, keep at it. 60 is just the beginning. Welcome to your years of comfort. Congratulations, my younger brother. And thank you so much, Your Excellencies, who have left their very busy schedule to honor my brother here. Thank you so very much. I can't put it better than the Koguna himself has put it. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, sir. It's good to see my Ogas in flesh and blood. A round of applause for the veteran there. Thank you so much. Well, while the Vice President walked in earlier, he came in the company of some distinguished governors. I'd like to begin by recognizing our governor from Lagos, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Your Excellency, you're welcome. I believe it's not a coincidence that you answered the same name with my Oga BKO, right? Perhaps there's a journalist somewhere inside of you too. Thank you for coming. We also have the Akwa Ibom State Governor, Pastor Umo Eno. You're welcome, Your Excellency. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have the Senate leader, Senator Okpeyemi Bamdele Okunba. Thank you for joining us. I like your white cap. Prof, I think you should go on from here.
Thank you very much, Nifemi. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we're bringing on Mr. Sunday Dare, of course, another giant in the industry, essay to the President on media and publications. Please give him a round of applause. These are our veterans, and like I told you, Your Excellency, Mr. Vice President, you have lots of friends who decide to be here the moment they lent you a special guest. Mr. Dare, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the energy. Your Excellency, the Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Your Excellencies, the governors of Kogi, Akwa Ibom, Borno, and indeed Lagos, and Kwara, the chairman of the Governors Forum. My chief, I call him my chief, was first a comrade in arms, now he's my leader, M.O.B. Thank you so much. Babajide, I call him Otitojoju. I try to break it down. That is, truth is the greatest. I guess the reason Jide put my name to speak this morning is not far-fetched. We both stepped into the waters of journalism about the same time and the same year. While he was combing Kano for those stories and interviews, I was straddling the Middle Belt, working from Jos. And during the days of the dark days, we call them, of the jackboots and the guns, the bodyguards of the Abacha era, Babangida, someone I know will speak eventually, decided in his wisdom from Lagos to put myself, BABAJIDE, and Bagada Kato of blessed memory together to be the crack investigative team for the News and Tempo magazine. And we were traversing the Middle Belt and the entire North. And when it mattered, we were called to Lagos. So once we have our story, we board the midnight bus, we arrive at our office in Lagos, we sit down that same night, we put the story together for the cover. And once it's done, 2 days later, we are back by the night bus to our bases. So I share very fond memories with Jide, and I think that there's no time to talk about the exploits we did as journalists. But I think the book that I wrote in 2007, titled Guerrilla Journalism, Dispatches from the Underground. In several of the chapters, I spoke about interviews, stories we were able to do together with Jide. Jide, welcome to the 6th floor. Until I got your card, I thought I was your senior. I am humbled because clearly I know that you're exactly 60 days older than me. I want to thank you for the work you do, not only in Journalist Hangout, but because you've never left that trail of investigative journalism. You do excellent reporting, you do excellent backgrounding, you do excellent analysis, and even when those that know you very well watch you,
Thank you very much. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, one good thing about journalism or broadcasting is you never really leave the field. Some of us have gone into the academics, but somehow we never left the field of broadcasting, and we've gone into politics. I think I should say that. At this point, we're going to listen to a lady who laid the foundation of so many of us in the broadcast industry. Of course, like I said, she's moved from journalism to being one of the greatest female legislators we had, and now she has been an administrator for some years. She's our mentor, our big sister, a distinguished Nigerian woman. Ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Abike Dabiri, who is the CEO of Nigeria's Diaspora Commission, will now tell us what she knows about Babajide. A round of applause for her. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ronke. Your Excellency, sir, our governors here present, Chief of Staff, let me just observe all protocols. Babajide, my friend, my brother, happy birthday. I'll just say thank you for, making journalism a dignified profession, because that is what it should be. Yes. When, who said that he was surprised the VP, happy the VP came? I'm not surprised the Excellency came, because when you go to his office, always on Journalist Hangout. So, and talking about investigative journalism, I want to join Sunday and Co. in saying thank you for what you do. I know it's not easy. As Ronke said, when we're doing that on NTA, you couldn't even do most of the things that you're doing today. But thank you for all you do. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of commitment. It's a lot of passion for what you do. So as we celebrate you today, I just wish you many, many more years on earth. And what I want to say is you're just an adorable son. I speak to your mom from time to time, and I just want to congratulate you. Wish you all the very best, and do not relent. Do not give up. Do not reduce what you're doing. Rather, strengthen the profession and make it truly a dignified profession that it should be. Congratulations, madam. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, you can tell that she's still a journalist in spirit. Journalists keep it brief and prompt. A round of applause for Abike Dabiri Erwa. You know, they say man's true impact is best told by those who have walked with him. And what we are hearing today is a story or stories lived in the voices of friends, of colleagues, of those who know BKO well and who have seen him work closely. We're going to take a few more and then we'll move on. I'd like to call on the former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Mr. Mohammed Adoke. You have just 2 minutes and I am a very strict timekeeper. A round of applause for Mr. Adoke as it comes up.
Thank you. Your Excellency, the Vice President, distinguished Senator Kashim Shettima, GCON, the chairman of this occasion, my governor, my brother and my friend, Governor Abdurrahman Abrazak, the governor of Borno State, Professor Zulum, the governor of Lagos State, His Excellency Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the governor of Borno State, the governor of my state, Alhaji Ahmed Usman Ododo, my brother and my very good friend, my leader and my friend, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Chairman, please permit me. As a lawyer, I'm not used to giving extempore speeches. I like to make my speech so that I'm not misquoted, and so I'll crave your indulgence to have 3 minutes. Permit me, sir, to state that some lives whisper and some speak with quiet authority. Today we gather to honor Babajide KOLADE-OTITOJU, a man who has done both with discipline, dignity, and relentless commitments to truth. 60 years is not just a number, it is a testimony, a journey carved out, not by noise, but by consistency. From the bustling news magazine in 2005, his path has never been accidental. It has been deliberate, step by step, story by story, home news editor, and was later promoted to head of station. Ladies and gentlemen, that kind of rise does not happen by chance. It happens with excellence. And that excellence is one of the attributes and habits of Babajide Otitoju. We celebrate him today as Director of News after serving with distinction as Group Controller and Director of Current Affairs. You will all agree with me that he stands as a pillar in Nigerian journalism, not just in title, but in temperament and as a moral compass. Beyond the positions and headlines, one thing has remained constant with Jide, his discipline. In a profession where inducements and shortcut tempt and pressure mount, he chose the harder path, the road of integrity. The kind of discipline we must therefore acknowledge his steadfastness, not just as professionalism, but as character. Today we celebrate not only a milestone birthday, but the unveiling of a remarkable work, my life and journalist hangout. This contribution is more than a title. It is a window into experience, a repository of wisdom, and a bridge between generations of journalists. It captures a life lived in pursuit of truth and career dedicated to shaping public discourse. To younger generation watching, this is what longevity looks like. Not hype, not noise, but steady, principled work over time. To my brother and friend Jide, your journey tells us something powerful, that greatness does not always shout. Sometimes it sits at a desk, edits a story, leads a team, and quietly builds a standard others must meet. At 60, you are not slowing down, you're standing taller. So today we celebrate not just your years, but your impact, not just your career, but your example. I congratulate you on the attainment of your 60th birthday. Congratulations, madam.
Thank you, sir. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Distinguished guests, Your Excellencies, we understand that life is spent in the currency of time, so we want to make the best of it. So right now we're going to move into the book review segment. In journalism, facts matter, but in academia, depth matters. Today, our book reviewer represents both worlds of rigor and reflection. A former vice chancellor, an administrator, a scholar who understands systems, leadership, and national development. A man whose voice carries the authority of research and the wisdom of experience. He was the former head of department, dean of faculty, and director of the Center for Peace and Security Studies at the Modibo Adama University of Technology, Yola, in Adamawa State, where he served as vice chancellor. He also served as professor of history at Gombe State University between October 2008 and September 2012. Professor Kiari Mohammed represents a unique breed of scholar activists who have bridged the gap between research and policy. The character of his scholarly work is embodied in his belief that the value of any research work can be best measured by the extent of solution or solutions it provides to problems. Now, if I go on and on to read his profile, we'll probably sleep here. Distinguished guests, please put your hands together for our book reviewer as it comes up. A round of applause for Professor Mohammed.
Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, distinguished Senator Kashim Shettima, Your Excellencies, Governors of Borno, Kogi, Kwara, Akwa Ibom, Lagos, and representatives of some governors earlier mentioned, the Senate Leader, Chief of Staff to the President, Jide and Wumi, Your Royal Highnesses, journalists, friends of journalists, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My job is very easy. It's a quick review of a very beautiful book. I'm not going to bore you. This is the story of one of Nigeria's leading journalists, whose accomplishment has been attributed to his continuous search for factual reporting. This is accomplished through rigorous methodology, an art form he acquired obviously from his study of history early in life. This insistence on visiting the sites of events and speaking with dramatis personae has cast him as an objective reporter, an opinion molder among his colleagues and the larger society. Thus, any misrepresentation or misrepresentation by Babajide KOLADE-OTITOJU will be minimal, usually within acceptable limits of human foibles. BKO, as he is usually called, is a cosmopolitan Nigerian, a native of Ekinri Ade in what has now become Kogi State, a place he didn't get to see until he was a youngster. He was born in Zaria during the pogrom of the mid-1960s, when citizens killed fellow citizens like animals. These events ultimately led to a pre-stridal civil war between 67 and 70, in which an estimated 3 million Nigerians lost their lives and even more lost their livelihoods. We are still grappling with the consequences of these events 60 years later. BKO was too young for the events being described, but the trauma of what his parents witnessed in Zaria was enough to compel their relocation to Minna. Thus, Babajide was born and lived his early years in Zaria, raised in Minna, 67 to 71, Ilora, 1971, Okene, 73, and Egbe thereafter. It is therefore not surprising that Babajide embarked on a peripatetic career that took him to all corners of Nigeria as a budding young reporter, then a guerrilla journalist in the mid-1990s, and now a sought-after established senior journalist, whose opinion matters in policy and government circles across the country. The fact that several governors from different parts of the country are present today attests to this cosmopolitanism. The structure of the book, this autobiographical work, is structurally divided into 9 chapters. The first 4 chapters chronicle the birth, early life, educational journey, student activism, and the making of a journalist. This dovetails into his switch from print to broadcast media, the success of TVC as a news channel, and its flagship program, Journalist Hangout, is fundamentally attributed to Babajide KOLADE-OTITOJU's vision and managerial discernment. In chapters 5 through to chapter 8, the author details the contemporary history of Nigeria through the eyes of a journalist. From Presidents Goodluck Jonathan to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Babajide deftly appraises these regimes critically but without belligerence or animosity. He does not spare anyone, including the proprietor of TVC, who had at some point received the short end of the stick following the disruption of democratic rule in Rivers State. This independent streak has endeared him to his numerous admirers and social media followers. In chapter 9, we see the human side of the author. This, for me, is the highlight of Jide's 60 beautiful years on earth. Here, he met, wooed, and married the love of his life and mother of his 3 doting children, Umi, who has turned out to provide the much-needed sail to his already much-needed wind to his already soaring sail. That providential meeting with Umi, the power of prayer in the build-up to their marriage, and after, depict a couple whose love is built on the love of God. Umi, congratulations. Today is your day as much as Jide's. This book of 275 pages is written with fearless lucidity and can be read with ease and comprehended by all categories of readers. It is devoid of the abstruse jargon associated with journalistic writing. The style of all good writers is to communicate with their audience, and in this book, Babajide has succeeded. He has succeeded in communicating to his audience. In the whole book, I have seen only one avoidable case of editorial sloppiness. I read the book like I was reading a student's dissertation. This is on page 79, where a sentence is repeated. Apparently, it's a question of copy and paste, but it was supposed to have been a cut and paste. My second concern is stylistic, and it's not really a downside. Some sections and headings are rather short for a biographical work. This may not be unrelated to long years of editing magazines characterized by bylines and catchy titles. On the whole, My Life and Journalist Hangout is an outstanding first book for a man at the prime of his journalistic career. This is a sneak preview of Babajide's autobiography, and not the magnum opus which we expect much later in his life, perhaps during his 80th birthday or later. In a widely famed foreword, His Excellency Professor Babagana Umara Zulum, the governor of Borno State, describes this book as a journey through the life of a journalist, through the evolution of a program, and through the broader story of Nigerian media in an era of rapid change, end of quote. Do I need to add anything further? I therefore warmly recommend this book to the general reader as well as specialists interested in Nigeria, its politics and governance, its media space, and the unwritten nuances associated with the practice of journalism. In this book, Babajide has indeed danced on the tightrope often walked by practicing journalists. Everyone with interest in Nigeria should read this book. Happy birthday, Babajide KOLADE-OTITOJU, on your 60th birthday. May the good Lord preserve your life in good health and to give us the sequel to this fascinating book upon your retirement, by which time you will tell us much more than you have revealed in this book. Thank you all for your attention. Happy birthday.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for our book reviewer. That's probably one of the shortest book reviews I've heard. So he spoke more from the heart than the lecturer in the class. Your Excellency, Mr. Vice President, ladies and gentlemen, I would just like to recap quickly what we have here as the program to assist. Because we shouldn't forget that we have the chairman of the occasion, who we call is the chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum. And at a point, he's going to speak to us and probably help us coordinate some aspects with his permission. We'll be having the celebrant speak briefly, and then we'll bring on the chairman of the occasion, who is also the executive governor of Kwara. And then, if he agrees, which I think he will, thank God he's sitting with the vice president, all the governors would like to say something about Babajide. And of course, while the governors are saying something, the host governor of a state, Your Excellency, I think we'll bring you on last to cap it all up, because today is your day. You're actually the host governor. Babajide is from Kogi State, as we know. So at this point, and shortly after that, we'll have the symbolic unveiling, then we have the cutting of the cake, we have the vote of thanks, and then the special guest will address us, then we have the national anthem. So that's the abridged version of the program. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome, and I would say, with respect, a standing ovation for the man of the moment, Babajide KOLADE-OTITOJU. Even the vice president is on his feet, so you must be a very important man. We welcome you. Congratulations.
Thank you. You may have your seats. I have to first recognize that this is not journalist hangout stage, where I can sometimes get magisterial and speak without restraint. We don't have so much time. There are other programs that our invited guests have to attend, especially the governors from northern Nigeria. I was literally forced to write this book. There is so much work that I do at TVC, and I like to set the right examples, going to different places to bring back stories. I don't leave it for the junior staff alone. So every day is loaded for me. Sometimes I'm away for a whole month. My wife is one of the most patient women that I've seen. And I'm lucky because she started work in a media house. So she understands that sometimes we have to travel. She doesn't get as much attention as her mates get. But when I retire, she will get more than passing attention. The children too suffer from my constant travels, but I'm sure they understand. They are getting old too. One of them too, will probably get married in a few years. I don't know how soon he intends to get married. If he wants to be like me, then maybe in 10 years he will still be unmarried. Because I didn't marry early until my bosses started taunting me. That was when I then decided to get married. I am very grateful to everyone who has honored me by their presence today. I know a lot more governors will have been here, because in TVC, one of our directors nicknamed me the 37th governor of Nigeria because of my closeness to governors. But and my governor is resplendent as usual in his white bariga, and the Kogi State is well represented here.
I am very grateful. And as our book reviewer, Professor Kyari Mohammed, has said, because even foreign academics acknowledge his competence and his storytelling capabilities. So thank you so much, Professor Kyari, for agreeing to review this book. I've followed you for long, especially on history of insurgency in our country. You are, in my view, the best in the land currently. So it's not by accident that you are given the task. So thank you for a very honest review of the book. I promise to write another book after this. Hopefully when I have so much time to myself, because I was terribly distracted writing the book. At a point my head was full and I didn't want to continue. But I'm sure, as I said, when I retire, I'll be able to do a lot more books. I'm happy my boss, Bayo Nonoga, my mentor, and one of the people who taught me to be stubborn at what I do. Because in those days, when we do a story, sometimes I ask myself, are these people not afraid? I used to think I had courage. But when I got to Lagos, stories, people who come to our office, they are not afraid. I then said, okay, since this is the path that they have chosen, me too, I will not be afraid of anything. I owe what I've become in journalism to the fact that I met the likes of Bayo Nonoga as a very young man. In his early 20s, I met them and they made me better. They made me better. Whatever I am today, I owe to them. Kunle Ajibade, Dakpolo Yomi, Bayo Nonoga. I owe whatever I am today to them, and I give them credit all the time. I'm not ashamed to say it, that I won't be who I am today without people like that. And I promise them that I won't change. It's too late for me to do a character transplant. I will remain who I am. I will continue to give my best to my country. I will continue to go to different parts of my country to bring good stories. I'm grateful to my CEO at TVC. They have a board meeting today, otherwise she would have been here. She's one of my biggest fans. I'm happy my resident governor, Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, is here. When I say resident governor, that's my governor in Lagos. That's where I earn my living now, isn't it? So thank you, sir, for honoring me. And thank you for remaining my fan. I appreciate that. I appreciate your support. I appreciate traditional rulers from my hometown, the Oluwade of Ekenade, who used to sit, who used to sleep. We used to share the same bed. I was sleeping on top, he was sleeping downstairs, in inverted commas. So, and our good relationship has remained since then. And his wife, Olori Bridget, thanks for coming. My dad and my mom, what I called you when our governor gave you the staff of office the other day in Lokoja, should I still call you, sir? I have your permission to still call you, sir. Okay, I called my dad the chartered flogger. Because everybody who went through him will recall the way he used to flog them. You can't live with my father if you don't have discipline. He will beat the hell out of you. We are happy now because an old man, he can't beat us again. Thank you for the way you brought us up. Otherwise, we won't be where we are today. I just want to say that it is our wish that our country gets better. And I recommend that book to every one of us, because reading that book, I'm confident that some of the changes that we need, the positive changes, will be able to work around those changes. I want to see a Nigeria that is secure, without the fear of bandits. And if we must get help, either from America or anywhere, I urge the government, because the government is well represented here, I urge the government to get that help so that our people can move around, go to their farms. The insecurity is demarcating the government of the day. And I hope that we can get rapid solution, quick solution to this problem. It's my message to the president. The vice president is here, he's listening to me. Let's do our best. It's the biggest problem that we have to solve. As I wish good health for my country, I want the government to address that problem of insecurity the best way that it can, so that we can all live in a happy Nigeria once again. Whatever the government achieves, even in the area of the economy, people will keep pointing at insecurity. That's why that problem has to be addressed frontally and solved. I'm sure and I'm confident. I'm a believer in this government. I believe that that solution will come sooner than later. Thank you so much. Thank you to my children. Since I'm not going to retire now, you will still miss me a number of times. Thank you to my wife. You'll be missing me for some time. I'm sure you are used to it already. So thank you. I appreciate your coming, everyone.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for our celebrant and his very lovely family. Congratulations once more. His children are actually taller, so Babajide, what's happening? Thank you very much. Please be seated. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, like I mentioned earlier, at this point, we're just going to dovetail into the area where the executive governors will say something with the permission of the chairman. We're trying to wrap this up, so we left the biggest fishes for towards the end of the event. At this point, I invite most respectfully the chairman of the occasion, who is also the chairman, Nigerian Governors Forum, Executive Governor of Kwara State, Abdul Rahman Abdul Razak. He will address us, and then he will give us permission to call his colleagues. Your Excellency.
Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency, Senator Kashim Shettima, GCON. The Executive Governor of Borno State, His Excellency, Professor Babagana Umar Zulum. His Excellency, the Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Celebrant, Mr. Celebrant. His Excellency, the Governor of Kogi State, His Excellency, Usman Ahmed Ododo. His Excellency, the Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Pastor Umo Basi Eno. You're welcome. His Excellency, the Governor of Taraba State was here earlier. He had to go for a meeting at the NSA's office. The former Governor of Kaduna State, Senator Ahmed Mohamed McCarthy. The Leader of the Senate, Senator Michael Bamidele Reyemi. The Chief of Staff to the President, the Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, and other senior presidential aides here present. The Noble Member representing Ikeja Federal Constituency, Honorable James Abiodun Fadike. The celebrant, Prince Babajide KOLADE-OTITOJU, and his dear wife, Mrs. Wumi Jide Otitoju. The book reviewer, Professor Kiari Mohammed. The former Attorney General of the Federation, Mohammed Bello Adoke. The royal father of the day, the celebrant's father, the Akinrin of Akinrin, His Royal Highness Oba Johnson KOLADE-OTITOJU, and the Olori, Ebun Christina Otitoju. Friends and family members of Babajide KOLADE-OTITOJU here present, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I congratulate Mr. Babajide KOLADE-OTITOJU, BKO as is fondly called, on this milestone. It's indeed a moment of reflection, thanksgiving, and deserving celebration, and I celebrate with you and your entire family. I also thank BKO for the effort to tell all sides of the story every time in a way that the truth is not compromised. BKO is a credible voice for the season. The public deserves only the truth told from all sides of the argument. This is what allows society to grow in unity and peace. I commend BKO and all our friends in the media who do this for the love of truth and fairness. I'm using this event to especially commend the media for their patriotic support for democracy and sustainable development, our democracy. In equal measure, I appeal for more support for our security forces in the fight against banditry and terrorism, and the strategic reporting of matters in a way that does not embolden or lionize criminals or make people easy targets for these bad faith actors. Finally, I thank BKO for unveiling a book to mark this day. It's a necessary addition to deepening national conversation. I believe that the insights in the book will serve shared national interest in many ways. Happy birthday, MKO. Wish you all the best, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. I guess the award to the calmest governor in Nigeria will probably go to the Kwara State governor, but we'll find out when other governors speak. Right now, we're adjusting my live and journalist hangout, and it will be coordinated by the Chairman, Nigeria Governors Forum, the Executive Governor of Kwara State, Governor Abdul Razak Abdurrahman.
I'd like to invite my colleagues to assist me in inviting the Vice President. No, sir.
We're about to unveil, distinguished guest, the latest intellectual coverage of Nigeria's history by the distinguished veteran journalist, and it's been coordinated. Okay, please note that there's a firework. BKO, please step back a little. Oh, awesome.
It's my singular honor and privilege to cherish forever, to unveil a masterpiece written by our very good friend,
a latest book in town, my live and journalist hangout, a must read and a quality 60 as a full circle of time. Now we move from time to legacy, and that's what's happening right now. They take a man's experiences and make them permanent. They ensure that long after BKO voice is no longer to a generation yet unborn, the unveiling of my live and journalist hangout. I believe a very symbolic highlight of today's event. And the Vice President is now in company of the executive governors present, displaying the brand new book, My Life and Journalist Hangout. Okay, please can you lift the book?
Please, we'll have photographers take the picture. Can we hold, thank you everybody, can we hold the book to the photographers? Thank you. Unveiling the latest book in town. Nifemi.
Thank you so much. You can have your seats now, Your Excellencies, as we move on. You can please have your seats now, distinguished guests, Your Excellencies. Distinguished guests, when leadership meets influence, it creates moments like this, where those who govern us also pause to honor those who shape our national thought. The media and governors, I believe, are deeply connected. One that leads with policy, the other with perspectives. Today, we are honored to hear from the leaders of states and stories that intersect meaningfully with the journey of the celebrator, BABAJIDE KOLADE-OTITOJU. I'm going to begin with the Center of Excellence. And I believe that as each governor comes, they will also have the privilege to launch the book. So please let us make welcome first the home governor of the celebrator, okay, let's make welcome chairman of the NGF as he makes this very important announcement.
Excellency the Vice President, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to say Babajide is Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Excellency Zulum, Umaino, Ododo, and at least 16 governors were supposed to have been here today. At least 16 of them, but there are various competing functions. But you have the chairman of the forum here, so you have 36 governors. And the celebrant is also a member, co-opted member of the forum. Now, I'd just like to make a donation on behalf of all the members. We're donating a sum of 200 million for 36 copies of the book for each state. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Well, that has bridged a lot of work for us, because now, please, can we give the governors a round of applause? 200 million, that's a lot. Thank you, thank you. We just have about two other things to do briefly. We're supposed to cut the cake. I hope it will come out now. Then we'll take the vote of thanks. And then, of course, our special guest will address us. And then we'll take the national anthem. Nifemi, vote of thanks by whom? And can we have the cake to be brought out? And I learned that Koroso dancers are here. Could they please start performing just at the foyer so we'll see them on our way out? Thank you.
Thank you so much, distinguished guests, for coming all out today. We are now getting to the crescendo of things as we thank everyone who has come out to celebrate Babajide KOLADE-OTITOJU. Mrs. Iyabo Soji Okunsoya will now come out for the vote of thanks. Please put your hands together for her, Mrs. Okunsoya. Please, where is the cake? Oh, it's a virtual cake. You can just display the picture. We can cut it virtually. You're welcome, ma'am.
His Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, all the governors here present, special privileges to my governor from Kogi State and my resident governor from Lagos State, royal fathers present. On behalf of the Otitoju family, I want to say a very big thank you to everyone who took time out of their extremely busy schedules to be present here today. We do not take this privilege for granted. We know that you have many other things that you could have been doing. So we thank you for honoring my brother, Babajide KOLADE-OTITOJU. I ask that God Almighty continues to bless each and every one of you. May He continue to uphold you and your family, and may He cause us all to achieve the purpose for which we were created. And may He continue to let the Federal Republic of Nigeria have the people that brought the cake open it so that we quickly cut that. And like I mentioned, Koroso dancers are here. They will be performing just as we leave. And also, we would like to mention at this point that the unit cost of the book for the launch is 50,000, and after today is 25,000 naira. So please, if you want to buy the book, and we hope you buy the book, because this is a work that's been put together by Babajide Otitoju. So for the launch, 50,000, and after today, 25,000, or whatever you have actually, because it's the launch. Let's not forget that when you write a book, it is believed that you've written your name into immortality, because the book survives you on earth and many people will read it. Can we have that cake please opened quickly so that we can just cut it? I hope there's a knife there somehow. Well, I can see it from here. We stand around it and it will be cut. I can't see the cake designer. So, is someone getting the knife for it? Or we should go ahead?
Well, there's a mic.
There's a knife. We can actually stand around the cake because it's symbolic. So, Your Excellency, you will be accompanied by the chairman of the occasion and all state governors, the parents of the celebrant, the wife of the celebrant. Can we all please come together with the celebrant and just have a picture there, please? Babajide, please come here. The wife, the parents, all the state governors, led by the special guest. We just have to have pictures with this cake.
Congratulations.
Photographers, please, let's do this a bit fast. Thank you all for being there for Babajide today. And once the pictures are done, thank you all. Yes, we also have Honorable Faleke joining. Thank you very much, sir, for coming.
I recognize the President, His Excellency, Governor of Lagos State.
Thank you very much. We need all the pictures. Don't forget this is a media event, so we need all the pictures. Headlining tomorrow's media, please. Thank you very, very much. I think this does it. So please, let's give a round of applause once more for the celebrant as we take our seats. Thank you very much. Please, let's take our seats. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Well, some governors are still having pictures with him, so please let's take those pictures too. Thank you very much. Congratulations to the celebrants. Thank you. Thank you. Can we have the music go down totally at this point? Music off at this point. Well, today has been a great day, like we know. And truly, I don't think I've seen any journalist in Africa that has gathered the quality of the statesman or president, but in his own, the private sector, and now into politics, and now into true governance. Ladies and gentlemen, I invite most respectfully His Excellency Kashim Shettima, Vice President of Nigeria, GCON, to deliver his remarks. Mr. Vice President, sir.
Kindly take your seats, please. Thank you so much, Professor Ronke Bello and Nipemi Oguntoye. The chairman of the day, the Executive Governor of Kwara State, and Chairman Nigeria Governors Forum, Malam Abdurrahman Abdurazak. Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Borno State, His Excellency Professor Babagana Umar Zulum MNI. Your Excellency, Mr. Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu. The Executive Governor of Akwa Ibom State, His Excellency Pastor Umo Basi Eno. Your Excellency, the host governor, the Governor of Kogi State, Ahmed Usman Ododo. An elder statesman that I hold in the highest esteem, the former governor of Kaduna State, Senator Ahmed Mohammed Makalfi. We belong to different platforms, but you are an excellent Nigerian, and we are mightily proud of you. The leader of the Senate, Senator Michael Opeyemi Bamidele. The honorable member representing Ikeja Federal Constituency, Honorable James Abiodun Paleke, who incidentally is from the Okun side of Kogi State. That's his ancestral part, from the same sub-region with our chief brother. The celebrant, Babajide KOLADE-OTITOJU, and his dear wife, Mrs. KOLADE-OTITOJU. The book reviewer, Professor Kyari Mohammed, my brother, my friend, also another complete gentleman, Mohammed Bello Adoke, the former Attorney General of the Federation. The royal father of the day, the Akinrin of Akinrin, His Royal Highness Oba Johnson KOLADE-OTITOJU, and his wife, Olori Ebon Christiana Otitoju. You are very lucky, both of your parents are alive. You are 153 days older than me. We finished secondary school in the same year, 1983. We graduated in the same year, 1989. The only missing link, I'm happy for you, both of your parents are alive and both of my parents are deceased. The co-royal father of the day is Olu Ade of Ekirin Ade, His Royal Majesty Olu Anthony Bamigba Idowu. Friends and family of Mr. Babajide KOLADE-OTITOJU here present, most especially the Speaker of the Borno State House of Assembly. You are a very good friend, and he is very much around here. Members of the fourth estate of the realm, especially the elder statesman, Kogun and Sokoto, Malam Danladi Bako. We are very envious of you in your heydays in the NTA because you are dating one of the finest ladies in Nigeria by then. And the host to our brother, Bayo Onanuga, one very fine gentleman. I know Kule Ajibade is not around, so also is Dapo Oloroyomi and Baba Femi, Senator Baba Femi Ojudu. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. A society is rarely ruined by a shortage of ideas. Ideas are everywhere. They arrive uninvited. So what destroys a society is not the absence of ideas. It is the absence of men and women with the courage to interrogate ideas, to test them against reason, and to ask the difficult questions that save a people from the seduction of easy answers. That is why our gathering today is a tribute to a man who has made a vocation of questioning appearances, resisting intellectual laziness, and insisting that public life must answer to reason. It is also a celebration of the wisdom of documenting experience. For when a man writes, it will not only preserve memory, he offers his journey to history. Our celebrant, Mr. Babajide KOLADE-OTITOJU, is a living template of that democratic courage, and this day is therefore a day to celebrate. One does not have to search too deeply to establish what a critical thinking tradition does to a nation. It disciplines public conversation. It saves citizens from the tyranny of prejudice. It protects society from the poison of conspiracy theories that feed on fear, ignorance, and wounded passions. Every prejudice flourishes where scrutiny is absent. Every conspiracy theory matures where facts are too weak to defend themselves. And whenever a people surrender their judgment to noise, they risk handing over their future to the loudest merchants of division. This is why the battle for a nation's soul is open, a battle for its habits of thought. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, every serious society, every critical mass of citizens desires a platform that compels them to see beyond the surface. People do not only need information, they need interpretation. They need perspective. They need an arena where assumptions are tested, where received wisdom is stretched, where power is questioned, and where citizens are given reasons to think. This, in many respects, is what Babajide KOLADE-OTITOJU has come to represent. His professional journey has been defined by the higher burden of intellectual seriousness. The measure of every democracy is not in the rituals of elections alone or the architecture of institutions. It is also in the sensibility and sensitivity of the media. A democracy depends on a media culture that knows when to probe, when to warn, when to illuminate, and when to restrain itself from becoming an accomplice to confusion. Everything deteriorates when left unquestioned. Power deteriorates. Public institutions deteriorate. National conversations deteriorate. Even truth itself can be crowded out when falsehood is allowed to roam unchallenged. The media, at its finest, is not a theater of noise. It is a republic of conscience. This is why the years of journalists hangout on TBC have come to symbolize the spark of our maddening, necessary, and noble interest in a society that thinks, a society that asks questions, and a society that refuses to outsource its judgment. At the center of this civic enterprise stands Mr. Babajide KOLADE-OTITOJU, steady in presence, disciplined in method, and unmistakable in voice. Through that platform, he has helped sustain a public square where argument is not a threat to order, but a pathway to clarity. It takes even greater courage to do so in a profession where visibility is high, tempers are quicker, and the cost of candor can be heavy. Yet our celebrant has paid the cost. He has paid the price that comes with helping to build an industry of thinking in a climate that too often rewards reflex over reflection. He has now gone a step further by documenting part of that journey in My Life and Journalist Hangout. That act matters. It matters because experience that is not documented is often lost to time. For this, the nation owes you a debt of gratitude. At 60, BKO stands before us as a man who has given his life to the difficult business of public reasoning. That is no small achievement. To spend decades in the service of journalism with integrity intact, with relevance undiminished, and with intellectual energy still alive is a rare accomplishment. Yours has been a career shaped by courage, sharpened by curiosity, and sustained by a belief that journalism is not only about reporting events, but about enlarging the moral and mental horizons of society. Today, as we celebrate your 60th birthday and the public presentation of your book, My Life and Journalist Hangout, we honor the substance you have poured into those years. We honor a craft you have dignified, a platform you have elevated, and a tradition of critical engagement you have helped nurture in our country. We also honor your decision to write, to document, to remember, and to leave behind a record of a life spent in the service of thought. Winston Churchill said, "Truth is so precious that it has to be surrounded by a bodyguard of lies." At the height of the 2023 political campaigns, a video emerged purportedly of Kashim Shettima having lunch with Boko Haram terrorists. The obedient crowd weaponized that lie and gave it a life. I got a call from the Speaker of the Borno State House of Assembly that one Babajide wants to clear some evidences from you. I got in touch with him, and true to his nature, he stoutly defended my position. The picture was taken at one of our school sites. We are building mega schools across the length and breadth of Maiduguri. And most of the Maigads in those schools were victims of Boko Haram that were chased out from the Sambisa forest. And we were encouraging them to enroll their wards into school. By bringing them closer to us, we believe that that will earn us their confidence. And precisely those pictures were taken with those parents of our students. 11 of them are now studying medicine and nursing in Maiduguri. And to the eternal credit of Governor Babagana Umar Zulum, we built a school named after the former First Lady Aisha Buhari. We are feeding them 2 meals per day. One thing that he did that has endeared himself more to me was the fact that after my exit from office, you know, when you are in power, as I have always said, your friends know you. When you are out of power, you know your friends. He sustained. We were releasing 15 million naira every month for the upkeep of those Fulani wards. And we specially designed that school for the Fulanis. We provided them homes at an estate built by Aliko Dangote. We are providing them 2 meals per day. The governor sustained that payment. And those young men now speak better English than myself. So BKO, we are proud of you for standing for truth, for justice, for equity. And be rest assured that the issue of security you have highlighted is receiving the topmost attention from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I'm not playing politics. I'm telling the naked truth. that we are very much concerned. We are very much worried. Because the essence of government is to provide security to the lives and property of the citizenry. The president is very much concerned, and the president is leaving no stone unturned to see that the issue of security of lives and properties of Nigerians are promptly addressed. Hajiya Shagaya, sorry for not recognizing your exalted presence. Barakanki da zuwa. So on behalf of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, the government and people of Nigeria, I congratulate you on attaining this remarkable milestone and wish you a happy 60th birthday. May the years ahead bring you strength for even greater service, clarity for even deeper insight, and grace for a life that will continue to enrich our national conversation. May we gather 30 years from now to celebrate your 90th birthday. Thank you, and may God bless us all.
We'll have the national anthem. Thank you very much. This wraps up the event. We thank you, the special guest. Please, the books are on sale outside. Music, please take it down. Take it down. The books are on sale. Please kindly remember to pick a copy. 25,000, 50,000, whatever we have. Kindly make sure we buy a book before we go today. Please, let's buy these books. Please, let's buy these books. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone, for coming out today.
Maza a gabanku.